What you're going to see now is the video footage of India's surgical strikes in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Visuals carried out on September 29, 2016. The strikes were undertaken to avenge a Pakistani attack on an Indian Army camp in Uri 11 days earlier, in which no less than 17 Indian soldiers were killed. Good evening, you're watching The Fine Print. I'm Aisha Sindhu. A day after the release of this footage, India's External Affairs spokesperson responded to a question from WION on whether the video is proof enough that Pakistan needs to act now against terror outfits operating on its soil.
So we have seen those videos of surgical strikes coming and just a short while ago the Ambassador Haley said that Pakistan should mend its ways and not indulge in activities that support safe haven. What do you have to say, your reaction to it?
Siddhant, our position on terrorism emanating out of Pakistan is very clear, and I think I have shared that from this forum several times, that Pakistan has to take steps to control terrorism which is coming out from its territory. It has to rein in the terrorists which are operating freely in the country. As far as the video is concerned, you would recall that on September 29th, 2016, from this very place, there was a joint press briefing by MEA and MOD. We have made our position on the surgical strike very clear during that press conference.
Meanwhile, Pakistan, for which an admission of the strikes would be deeply embarrassing, continues to remain in denial mode. The Pakistani Foreign Ministry has rejected the video proof, saying India's claims were figments of its imagination. Now, the Indian Army carried out the strike exactly 11 days after the attack on Uri. It was a swift and targeted attack aimed at neutralizing terror launch pads across the border. Joining me on The Fine Print tonight is Lieutenant General Syed Atta Hasnain. Among his other many appointments, the General has served as the Indian Army's Military Secretary and, of course, GOC of 15 and 21 Corps. General Hasnain, good evening. Thank you for making time for us here on WION. 2 years on, sir, why does this footage continue to be important for India's stance when it comes to Pakistan-based terror?
Good evening, and thank you, Aisha. Yes. Almost 2 years down after the 28th of September 2016, this video footage has emerged again. I may start by saying that I do endorse what General Huda has been saying in the last 2 days, that we wish that this video had emerged within 24, 48 or 72 hours after the surgical strikes had taken place. The credibility and the believability for the international community would have been perhaps much higher. But having said that, as far as Pakistan is concerned, we have always been very clear that for Pakistan, the strategy has always been a strategy of denial. It has been denial in 1989 as far as the commencement of operations inside the valley was concerned, in 99 in Kargil, and in many other instances where denial has always been a part of its strategy. And therefore, it is important for India to continue to persist and to reveal to the world the hand of Pakistan as a part of the proxy war that it is conducting inside Kashmir. Otherwise, what happens from time to time is that this seems to be forgotten, and Pakistan, with its what is called under-the-radar diplomacy, manages to convince portions of the world that actually there are huge human rights violations taking place inside Kashmir, and that the Indian Armed Forces, 7 lakhs in strength as per their perceptions, is the one which is committing all these excesses. It is important for us to remind the world that the Indian Army responded to the human rights violations of the other side, which has struck on our troops, sleeping troops inside a camp early in the morning. And it's important for them to know that the Indian Army had the political backing, that India had the political will to respond in kind and will do so again.
Right, and it's important that you bring that up, sir. I wanted to steer clear of all the political controversy that has been generated on account of this visual, because I think what's really important here is the fact that this is a statement not just for Pakistan, but for a number of people within India. You mentioned General D.S. Hooda as well. Let me also remind our viewers that we actually spoke with General Hooda. He was the GOC&C of the Indian Army's Northern Command when the surgical strikes were carried out. We asked him what he thought the army had achieved with the operation. This is what he told us.
See, I think, every effect is not necessarily physical. So there are also moral effects. And we talk a lot in the army about, moral domination over the enemy. And I think that's also an important part, particularly when you are sort of facing off each other along the line of control on a daily basis. So that moral domination over the enemy that, we've been able to do this. And then, there was also a message to our own soldiers. People were asking questions that we lost 18 boys in Uri. And so what are we going to do? And so I think it was also sort of a message to our own soldiers that, you lost comrades, but it doesn't mean that, their lives will sort of go unavenged. So I think there were positives to it.
General Hasnain, all our conversations in the past, you've always maintained that the morale of the Indian troops is something that, will require a great degree to be dented. But at the same time, the fact that this strike was carried out after Uri, as General Hooda was saying to us earlier, it seems it was important for the Indian troops also to reiterate the army's commitment to its men.
Thank you. That's a very good question. And let me start by saying, on the line of control, we have what is called an eyeball-to-eyeball confrontation, an eyeball-to-eyeball stance. And in that stance, there is a terminology called moral ascendancy. That's a very important terminology for us, to maintain the moral ascendancy at all times, to dominate your adversary, to let your troops feel that they are the dominant ones, they are the better trained, the better equipped people. Morally, they have a right to be there. Morally, they have a right to go across. These are the kind of messages which our troops need to be always enforced with. And I think in the midst of all this, if you find that your adversary manages to send across 4 terrorists to carry out a raid on a brigade headquarters, the same headquarters which I commanded, and kill 17 to 18 soldiers, we cannot be seen to be sitting on our haunches. And that is one of the major reasons why this particular strike had to take place. And let me not delve into the political side of it. A lot of people are questioning that these have taken place many times before, and that what is the reason for taking ownership of it politically this time. I think there's a very important aspect here, that for the first time, we were responding to a reasonably negative situation where the adversary had come across and tried to do something to us. And it was important for us to send across the message to the adversary and tell the Indian nation, tell the Indian soldiers that we had the moral ascendancy, we had the capability to do it, and we had the political backing to do it again.
Fair enough. Stay with me, General Hasnain. Just for our viewers, the layperson who'd like to know more about what exactly transpired on September 29th. First of all, it was a marked change from the past. The Indian government decided to publicly acknowledge the carrying out of these strikes. The people of India therefore knew of the punitive action that the Indian army conducted in retaliation. I need to specify that, in retaliation to the strike on Uri conducted by Pakistan-based terrorists. Now the footage of how the assault was unfolded is out. 4 videos, 4 targets. Here's a breakdown of what happened.
September 29, 2016, 6:15 a.m. A terror launch pad was struck. The bunker situated well into Pakistani territory was target number 1. Videos captured by unmanned aerial vehicles and thermal imaging cameras show the bunker completely destroyed. Another target hit. Target number 2. destroyed in a precision strike by Indian Army's Special Forces at 6:13 a.m. before target number 1. Cameras mounted on the helmets of the soldiers captured the burning bunker in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Target number 3. Footage shows smoke billowing out of a bunker. Another launch pad shredded to pieces as an Indian Army mortar hits right on target. Footage from before the strike shows a group of men standing by the terror launch pad, some of whom appear to be Pakistan Army soldiers. Target number 4. Footage captured by India's forces shows movement of 5 terrorists. That was at 4:32 a.m. 4:38 a.m. Targets eliminated, multiple shots fired to take them out. Target number 4 was the first operation that was carried out. As many as 38 terrorists were killed in the operation, and 636 days later, the proof is out. This 8-minute-long video silencing all those who questioned if the strike ever took place at all. Bureau Report, WION.